I think there are a lot of pros and cons of being a professional player. The pros certainly outweigh the cons. You get to do something you love. I love video games, I love competing. Every day that I play, I feel unbelievably fortunate to be here and to have been here so long.
Yeah, I mean, being in this position, it very much is a dream come true. I talk about this even in my own stream and in my own content as well. There's a lot more pros that outweigh the cons.
You know, you're waking up every single day playing a game that you love playing, you know, and obviously getting paid to do it. And
it's a dream, like you're playing a video game that, you know, it's a competition, so at the end of the day, the fun does get sucked out a little bit, but it's still, when you put things in perspective, it's obviously, it's like, wow, this is a dream.
You get to travel a lot. Going to America is not something everyone can do early in his life. So traveling, meeting a lot of people, competing for money, enjoying like the crowd, the pressure, the competition. It's just like a lot of dopamine.
Competition as a whole is like something that I don't think many people in their day-to-days really get to experience. And then having that team aspect also backing it, like having a group of people that you really want to get better with, kind of grow with, is something that not many people get to experience. So when you have the right formula, it is a very rewarding process.
Wake up whenever the hell I want to, get on, grind all day with my teammates and best friends, be able to perfect my craft, and to be able to come out here and do these events, meet my fans and fans of Halo. It's really, really awesome and fun. And competing is just really exciting.
The pros are really easy to identify. You are playing on the main stage in front of hundreds of thousands of viewers, and you're able to build essentially a name for yourself potentially from Xbox Live. And I think there's a lot of, you know, of course, glamour that comes with that, and the benefits of traveling around the world to be able to play the games you love.
I'm literally doing what I dreamed of doing growing up. I watched people live this life, but it wasn't even as good as it is now. Like, I have it better than the people I watched back in the day. So, you know, every day I just wake up feeling blessed that I get to do this, and I cherish every day because it's not gonna last forever.
Some cons, I would say, to kind of balance that in a sense, is you don't really know when to stop. There can be so much drive and so much passion or so much like understanding that you have to be better or you need to work on something, that knowing when you need to take a break, there's no clocking out. And there's obviously, like, if we finish a scrim is over, but even if you get through something like that and the scrim didn't go so well, or you saw some aspects of like, I need to do this better, the team needs to do this better, it can always keep going. And to kind of have like a temper on yourself, knowing when to speed up and when to slow down and give yourself a break, or when to go harder, you kind of have to understand yourself pretty well. And that's something that, again, you get afforded the time to be able to do, but you really have to take it in strides and actually make sure you put the best foot forward to accomplish your goals.
You know, scrims are fun and competition is fun and these tournaments are awesome and everything, but like the biggest con, in my opinion, is like the mental health aspect. It's not a physical sport, so it's all mental. So you're in your own head trying to get better, but if you struggle with, you know, holding yourself accountable or holding yourself too accountable or not letting things go, you can get in your own head really bad and kind of torture yourself. You know, I'm somebody who's been doing this for a decade plus, and I still sometimes, there's days I wake up like, oh my God, like I suck. And you have to get out of that mindset and you kind of beat yourself up. So yeah, the mental health aspect and balancing a good schedule are probably the two biggest hurdles to climb. You'll get pinged that 8s are happening at 2 a.m. It's like, dude, I want to go to sleep and wake up at like a decent time. And the next thing you know, it's 7 a.m. You're done with 8s. You get no sleep for your scrim. You don't feel like scrimming. You get destroyed in the scrim. Then you think you suck. And then you're in your own head like, why do I suck? It's a vicious cycle, and it is a hard thing to balance. And I think most people would tell you something similar. I do think over the years, we've all figured out better scheduling for scrims and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, I still think mental health is like a really tough one when it comes to being a professional gamer.
A con, just for me, would be just feeling as though there aren't really days off. I don't particularly think that maybe everyone feels that way, but just on the mental side of, you know, knowing I should be practicing, knowing I should be playing, knowing I need to improve, it could be a bit taxing mentally.
Having a balance between like family life, a social life, if you even have one.
Being able to maintain like a healthy lifestyle with the gaming, being able to contain relationships and friendships alongside with the gaming and not letting things conflict between each other. You know, the practice, you can never lack when you're practicing. You always want to be able to be there 100%. Sometimes it's hard to bring that every single day and practice online, but it's something that you just got to be able to push through. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a con, it's just kind of part of the job.
The higher you go, the harder you fall. So losing building teams. It's really hard things to actually do. Also, we don't really see the amount of effort we put into the game every day compared to like a normal sport where you're limited by your physical condition, right? If I'm gonna train for football, for example, like I'm gonna play, I don't know, maybe like a few hours a day, but then you can't do more, right? And the same for everyone. When in video games, people like spend 10 hours, 15 hours a day competing, getting better. So it's a lot of time and effort you need to put daily into the game just to hang with the best.
I always joke about this to people, but I guess one of the cons to being a professional gamer is, I put in 10 years before I made any money. So you definitely, you start at the bottom and you have to grind for basically free, which is really hard for people to do when you have to go out and make money and pay rent and pay bills and stuff. Some people are very fortunate to be in the position to grind all the time, and it's definitely like that. You just got to put in a lot of work up front in order to get to that point with basically like nothing in return until you get over that hump.
I mean, I just love being outside, and I love like anything like just working out and physical, like running. I don't get to be as active as I want to.
What you see less of course, are the trade-offs, which I think most pro players, as of course is testified by the fact that they're still playing the game, I think most pro players will tell you that in general they're worth it. However, there's a lot of trade-offs, right? It can be tough to manage relationships with not just a partner, but with family, but with friends from home, just because you're on the road so much, and your scrim schedules and practicing online can be really intense, and the amount of hours that you're putting in are going to be enormous commitments that often outweigh the hours of a normal 9-to-5 job. And that can be tough to just navigate in terms of keeping close friends at home, and you're constantly on the road and constantly in a new city. There's also the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of competitive results, right? You may be on top of the world one event. Fast forward to the next event, we've seen many teams fall out of the top 8 after maybe placing top 3 or things along that line. So being able to stay consistent and kind of ride the highs and lows, as is the case with any competitive event or sport, can be really tough as well. I'd say the hardest part would be staying on top, right? And matching. You have players that have, say, maybe tasted what it's like to be on the main stage in a grand final and then fallen far from that. How do you balance maybe years of competing thereafter and never being in a grand final again? I think all of those can be pretty tough psychological hurdles, emotional hurdles, and things along those lines. So I think those that are able to do it, I applaud them, because it's quite a grind, and rarely do you see exactly what goes into it.
You're telling me this person isn't subscribed to the Halo YouTube channel? This one right here? Embarrassing.